woke up today at around 6 in the morning. We had to get up bright and early in order to prepare for getting to the Cornhill Festival sometime between 7 and 7:30 in the morning, so we could get there with enough time to prepare my booth, which consists of a 9x9-foot tent that was white in color. I recall Dad got here maybe around 6:30 in the morning. He came to help with getting the shelving units into Mom's car. And one of the bins, that was the one that was holding the unusual shaped styrofoam drawings. And while the other two bins, the gray bin that wasn't very compactly packed, it held the fictional characters styrofoam drawings. And then the clear bin with the clear lid that held the ordinary people styrofoam drawings. The unusual shaped styrofoam drawings, it was a clear bin with a white lid. And then the ordinary people and fictional characters bins, those went in Dad's car. The cooler went in by itself, holding some supplies. In this case, there were some thin fabric that could potentially be used as a tablecloth for my table, but in reality, some thin red plastic wrap was used instead for the tablecloth. And also in that cooler were I think a clear bin or two with some dry erase markers. The unusual shapes bin was in front of the shelving units. In front relative to me if I'm standing at the back of Mom's car. I rode in Mom's car. Which was, I sat in the front passenger seat, and due to all the stuff in Mom's car, it ended up being pretty my seat pretty compact. Or at least more so than it is on a typical day. In Mom's car. But it was still comfortable. It was at maybe about in a 90 to 80 degree angle. In total, within those 3 bins within Mom and Dad's cars, Mom counted them and said there were about 111 styrofoam drawings that I brought in total, of which throughout the day I sold 2, the Joker styrofoam drawing and then that have a Guinness When You're Tired Guinness toucan ad parody. I sold both of those for $35 each. And how it is for the rectangular shaped styrofoam drawings, for the most common sizes, I've generally decided that it's going to be somewhere between 35 and 40, depending on the amount of detail. There are styrofoam drawings I consider to have $35 detail and others with $40 detail. Throughout the day, I sat at the fold-out table under my tent booth. We didn't really need to label the individual bins after all because I organized them myself. It took about an hour of work for me to do that, but I organized individual bins based off ordinary people, which for today were generally on the top and third top individual bins, while the fictional character styrofoam drawings were generally on the second top individual bins of the shelving unit that was to the left of the tent, while for the shelving unit to the right, it was generally more for styrofoam drawings of unusual shape, or those that didn't meet that weren't the 3 most common shapes of the styrofoam drawings. We brought to my tent booth. Throughout the day, people would occasionally look and stop by. The Cornhill Arts Festival is pretty big after all. The day of the Emerging Artists Expo, it officially started at 10 in the morning. But I finished setting up, I think, thanks to some help from Dad and Mom, although I think I personally mostly set up my booth once we actually got to the Cornhill Arts Festival. Because that way I got to organize the bins, organize the styrofoam drawings myself. If I recall correctly, we finished around 8:30 in the morning. And that was including, at one point, taking a peek at visiting the booths of the other emerging artists. Some pretty good paintings and printmakings. In total. Early on, there was a point in which Dad showed me where the bathrooms were. There's these sort of RV, they're best described as sort of mobile bathrooms, but they're more like RVs than porta potties. Basically an RV that consists of just 3 bathrooms that are interconnected within one vehicle unit. From left to right, the wheelchair accessible bathroom, the male bathroom, and then the female bathroom. And that's for one out of 2 of those RVs, if I remember correctly. There was also a fire safety house in that same lot, which was nearby the Emerging Artists Expo booths. It was just a short walk for me and Dad. That fire safety truck was sponsored by Wegmans, and those kind of trucks were a staple of mine back when I was in elementary school. They were, and probably still are, a good way of teaching young kids fire safety. throughout the day, I was mostly protected from the sun by the shade that tent provided. I only really got exposed to the sun during the very end of the day. I think maybe starting around 4:30 p.m., the sunlight started to creep towards me, so that by 4:45 p.m., that self-portrait, which was the reason why I wore a Boston Red Sox shirt within the state of New York, which Dad said I would get flack for, since New York is Yankee territory. Excuse me, that's the name of the team, the New York Yankees. I did get some flack, but it was just more like funny banter, that sort of thing. And even that was minimal. Yeah, I even said it much. That just so happened to be the shirt I picked for the self-portrait. No real reason for it. And maybe I wanted the challenge of drawing the logo. Who knows? My rainbow Crocs, rainbow tie-dye Crocs, and a pair of mostly black with some blue stripes shorts. The display-only cowboy was right behind the self-portrait on another wooden easel. Then on the other side, on another wooden easel, was the Tyler foam sign. I didn't want to bring the cowboy at first because I made it as a gift for Mom. Either for Christmas or some other time. So I couldn't really sell it, but then I thought that I should bring the cowboy, since that was one of the styrofoam drawings I submitted to get accepted into the Emerging Artist Expo. While I was in the bathroom, Mom moved the cowboy to make it display a sort of display-only wooden easel. At various points throughout the day, starting at around 11:30 to noon, until about 5 p.m., the point at which my stomach was in direct sunlight through my shirt. Making me hot and sweaty. Either Mom or Dad would make a quick trip to the food court so I could enjoy the food court of the Cornhill Arts Festival offered. Since I couldn't really leave my booth, it has to be covered by a physical person at all times. Throughout the day, I worked on finishing that styrofoam drawing I started at either the willow in or the knob about a week ago, I would say. And I managed to finish it at 4:49 p.m. And we started packing up around 6 p.m. Then when Mom and I got home, after some minutes, we made the decision to go to the Willow Inn, even though I probably shouldn't have done that. In one sort of way, on one hand, going there is how I got that chicken fingers and fries meal that I just ate. And the primary reason pushing me over to deciding to go was on the way back home, the DJ karaoke host, just karaoke host for the Willow Inn, which is a friend of Mom's, seemed to want to see us after the first day of the Emerging Artist Expo. I only had a one fuzzy navel drink, which is a sort of orange juice based cocktail. Then I essentially had iced water. I sang a total of 3 karaoke songs, but for the last one, we had to stay pretty late. And I sang Yellow by Coldplay. I first tried to sing Reverend by Kings of Leon, but the karaoke host didn't have that song in his collection. So I instead opted for Yellow by Coldplay. Then I did Purple Rain by Prince, as per more like a suggestion by Mom. And then lastly I sang Suddenly Seymour by Ashman Howard. As we were leaving, Mom and I, my marker satchel got hit by that heavy metal door that swings kind of fast that you open in order to immediately get into the bar / dining area. Basically the bar restaurant part of the building. And when that door hit my sign, my satchel, because I was trying to be careful to avoid having the styrofoam block I brought with me, I tried to think of an idea on what exactly I wanted to do with that styrofoam block, but I don't think I really came up with an exact idea that sounded good to me. Still, I wanted to protect that, keep that styrofoam block safe, since for every styrofoam block, I do intend to eventually make a drawing out of it. Either way I can. All I have to do is simply reorganize this in the morning. As for this, my most likely guess is that this is spicy mustard, but it didn't have much of a mustard taste to it. Either spicy mustard or honey mustard, but didn't really taste sweet enough for honey mustard. Some kind of special mustard. Spicy mustard or honey mustard. One of the two, but it wasn't spicy at all to me, so most likely honey mustard, now that I think about it some more. At first, back when around 6:45 in the morning to 7 in the morning, when we were packing up for the expo, I initially didn't want any stuff to be in that styrofoam cooler, since I felt maybe that could potentially damage it, but then I was assured by my mom that it wouldn't, that she gets how I feel about the styrofoam drawings, since I put time and effort into them. I mean, that cooler styrofoam drawing doesn't meet today's standards, but it's still something I put time and effort into. We got to the Cornhill Arts Festival at around 7:30 in the morning, so right on the cusp of as late as we can be and still be within the recommended time range. We would have gotten there a few minutes sooner, but there was a point in which I forgot that blue pen, notebook, and Mom had to stop at the gas station near Mom's place while Dad went back to go and retrieve that blue journal from my room.